All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to work on tones, okay? Not only are we going to work on tones, but I'm going to give a breakdown of tones, some basic training with tones, and then I'm going to have you guys bust into groups with the coaches and stuff, and then kind of work with them if you're having any trouble area or figuring out what the hell was he talking about. I don't hear nothing. He's crazy, yada, yada, yada. Let me start off with the warning about tones, okay? There's going to come a point, more than likely, that you'll find the tones and you're not going to be able to stop hearing them. And it's going to drive you batshit crazy, okay? Mainly because you're afraid you're never going to get it to stop, okay? What's interesting is when it stops is when you forget to think about it. And then you're going to be almost, oh my God, it's gone. But if you go to yourself, and you keep trying too hard to find it, you're going to find them again. And it's going to go, surprise! I was waiting for you to look for me. Okay? So the reason is your mind gets very good after a while of locating it. And when I say locating, this is the most hardest part about understanding tones. You've heard them before, you just don't realize you have. The only difference is you haven't really worked with them to utilize them for what they were. Okay? But they're always there. It's not something that's audible. It's not a sound in this room. You can hear it under the ocean. You can hear it in a dead room. In fact, it becomes deafening in a dead room because it's the only thing that you can hear, and it becomes very loud because you concentrate on it. It's something that is often referred to the sound of God, the remains of the Big Bang, okay? There really is no defining anything, and there's very, very, very little, if any, teachings on it, which is shocking to me. This teaching, in my opinion, would have fallen under, in Vedic teaching ancient times, as very sacred, very secret information. It's not something that they would have given to the layman. And the reason is because they would have went batshit crazy. I can't make it stop. Okay? So be careful what you wish for, in this case especially. So, the tones are essentially an inner frequency of your consciousness, and it's basically where your mind has settled in. And it is the realm between the two worlds, if you will, that really give you the key to movement. Now, yesterday when I was trying to teach you guys about feeling in your chest and said to you, it's literally a feeling. It's something you feel. It's not something like an idea. It's something you feel. So too is it true that when I say it's movement, I literally mean it's movement. The difference is when we think of movement and I want to go down to the door, I have to get up and physically walk. So I'm going to walk to the door to over-dramatize it, okay, and kill time in minutes, okay? So I'm moving myself down to the door. If I decide, I look at that door and I think to myself, I need a different door. That's not the door I want to go up because there's some crazy follower out there waiting for me, I think. So now I'm looking for another door. So in my mind, I have to use a different kind of way to look. And what I'm looking for is another bar. A bar is this, you're going to hear this. And what you're going to do is, when you want to move it toward you, you focus without willing it. I'll have to explain, it gets tricky. But it goes, and then all of a sudden you're like, what's this? It goes, and you're like, damn it, it's gone. And you got to concentrate. And the second your mind wanders, it jumps away again. So once I'm holding this one, I want to find the other one. And all of a sudden I'm like, there. I can hear it in my mind. I can feel it in my mind. I know the direction of it. There is, like I was teaching somebody the other day, a third eye. And you'll notice that you will track in your mind as if your eyes were looking, even though your eyes are shut. So that's kind of a way that you're in your mind, you're looking for these sounds that you're hearing, and it's going to be very faint, the second one. And as you begin to appreciate it, because if you try to look at it or concentrate or make it louder, you can't. It will not adhere or respond to anything that you would naturally do, because it's a physical movement that you're trying to do in your head. So there's a whole different way to control these sounds and to get them to do what you want. So I always say appreciate it. Look with your mind's eye as if you're looking in that direction and bring it. And the more that you admire it, it like moves up and gets louder too. And it goes, and now you get 2. That's pretty hard, right? So once you get 2 down and you're like, oh my God, I can hold my consciousness with 2 of these. You might not think much of it, but you have to remember now you're doing this, okay? This is exercising portions of your brain that later are going to allow you to do really amazing phenomena. So now, if that ain't enough, you all of a sudden will lose one, it'll fade away, and you're going to realize it because it slips away like a slippery eel. It doesn't go like, don't touch me, it goes. You work on getting it to come back in. When you can hold 2 and be aware of them, you can only kind of be aware one at a time, but you go back and forth real quick. But there's a sweet place, and the sweet place is you could be there and you can be actually aware of both at the same time. But if you choose to be selectively aware of one or the other, you'll lose the other one. Now when you get the 2 down, you're thinking you're the shit, okay? Now all of a sudden, you're going to hear way in the back of your head, somewhere's a little bit off to one side, sometimes it comes right down the middle. Everybody can be a little bit different, but usually in the same ballpark. You're going to hear a third one. And how do you know it's a third one? If you concentrate on just one, you won't hear any of them. Okay? As soon as you relax into it, I often say, think of it like a symphony. In the symphony, you got millions of instruments, but you have the ability to zone into one specific one, even though you're aware of all the other instruments, but you can really focus and choose to hear maybe a certain violin or a trombone or something, okay? And focus on that while you're still hearing the whole movement of the music. You want to take that same approach. The more you are appreciating it, because I don't want you to say focus. If you focus, you lose. You want to admire it. You want to appreciate it. Again, wordplay. It will become louder. So the third one's going to be back here, and all of a sudden you got this dual, whoa, okay, and you're like, oh, I got 2, and then you're going to hear this, like this little tiny soft sound, and the moment you start to allow to admire it, it comes louder. And you literally can tell the direction from these 3 points. By being aware of the 3 points, this is a new awareness for you. Because you can only hold them through some means that you don't usually use. It's foreign. It's alien. Okay? Now, you can go up to like 10 of these. And if you go past to the 4th one, you begin to shift your consciousness in ways that's very hard to describe human-like. And the longer you stay there, the more it changes your consciousness. You move into what is called very spiritual states. You gain skills and abilities to do things, okay? But it comes from the discipline of how long can you stay or remain in that place while the other ones are there. Sometimes it plays mean tricks on you, like you've got 1, you've got 2, you've got 3, you're thinking I'm the shit, I got all 3, and you go, wait a minute, I've been listening to 1, it cloned the other 2, son of a bitch, I've been boulder dashed. So, but this is good, because something in your awareness had enough consciousness to be aware that something had changed and you need to recalibrate it back. And it gets tiresome. This gets very tiresome. You're going to be like, okay, I had enough for the day. I don't want to do this no more. The control to do this is like, think of yourself as a young person for the first time in your life, learning to walk or move. It's tiring. And you have to build this endurance up. And it's something that you're forced to do where this is not. So this is something that you're like, I don't really have to do this. I'm going to take an off day, while in order to get up and eat, you got to get up and walk. You got to crawl. You got to move your butt. So you're forced to exercise those muscles. This here is discipline. This is practice. This separates the mice from the men or from the women to really get good at their abilities. It's something that you devote yourself to consistently, and it increases, and it has a lot of benefits. Now, in this process, this is where you get into the realm of a true teacher or true knowledge, or even, I hate to say, a good teacher without sounding too vain, but it's not so much in the process of finding the tone and just admiring the tone, or finding the other tone or the third tone. It's what lies in between that is the greatest knowledge and greatest skill. What did you do? What did you feel when you reached out and pulled that tone in? When you identified it, you desired for it to come to you. You can't listen harder. It doesn't affect it. You can't grab it. It can't be touched. You cannot in any physical way control it, but yet you can. There's going to be, if you pay attention to what I taught you yesterday, a feeling in your chest. And in your chest, it's almost as if you can feel it like turning, like it's like a knob, tuning it so it comes in towards you. And so you literally have to be paying attention to the tone. At first, it's very hard to be thinking what you're feeling, okay? But eventually, you begin to correlate the two. You begin to feel it. You'll feel like a little bit of a tightness, but not in a bad way. And you'll literally turn this, and it will bring it louder, and it will hold it. You can grab another one and turn it and bring it in. So it's that third state between recognizing it, consciousness, and bringing it into perspective is a third state. This is what makes you into a badass. That's the secret. Most people will listen to tones, and they'll say, oh, I got very good with tones. And I'm thinking, oh, good for you. Oh, I've got 9 tones I can do. Wow, that's impressive. Okay? But they have no idea as to how they're making something happen or how to bring something in. So without that skill, how do you do anything else with that ability? How do you bring in phenomena, or how do you bring in or control anything? What is true for the tones becomes true for a vision. If you have a vision in your mind, it looks very fuzzy. It's like your imagination, but it's not crisp. It's not HD. It's not like, wow, okay, like so real, like I better run out of the room, okay? When you adapt the understanding as a true developing student, you'll realize that image is a tone. It's just not a sound tone, but it functions in the same reality of realm. You look into your chest and you apply the thinking of that image to be pulled in, to become clearer, just like you would pull a tone in. Does that make sense? So now it starts to become super HD, super intense, and a lot of times people will jump away because it becomes too real. And your body wants to react to it as if it's literally there. This is skill. This takes practice. So working with tones is advancing you. But if you're doing tones and then you don't get to the point that you're paying attention to that little, it's a feeling. It's like bending something that wants to flex back. So you're kind of like forcing it to, but not enough that it would break. But you're getting it to do what you want, and then when you want to undo it, it just very quickly will snap back. The tone will always jump far away. But it's hard to get it to come in. You got to go and then hold it there and not think about it. You just got to go grab another one. You're like, and you hold these and you work through them. You can even get to the point where you can get several of them brought in. This becomes an octave change. And if you can bend them in a certain way, this is very difficult, of course, in a certain way. This is where we say you move into another dimension of consciousness. It's like the frequencies, you can hear, you literally hear them. So I want everybody to understand, this is as clear as hearing that music in the other room. You will hear it, okay? And it can get so loud if you allow it to. I often say, if it gets really loud and you go like, oh my God, that hurt, okay? I would say, well, stop running into the wall. Anyway, there's like walls of sounds in there, you know? So you would bring these together and allow this harmonic, and in your chest, if the chest can rest into it, it's kind of like, you know how music can make you feel a certain way? Happy, joy, we were talking about this earlier with John. John, are you here? I didn't think so. He's a late sleeper. All right, so you would look at it not so much as music as you understand it, but you find a beauty in it. And each chord, as it becomes louder or softer, and what tone it is, because they're each slightly different note almost, becomes a harmonic that's like a spinning, an unlock wheel, okay, for a combination. And if you allow it, all of a sudden, boom, your mind moves into this strange, beautiful places. The planes of light can be accessed through this. Other dimensions can be accessed through this. Other phenomena can be accessed in this way. So it's a very unique process, but it's very difficult to get to that level. I want you to understand there's a lot easier ways I can show you to get to the same place, kind of cheating the system. So, bad guru, I know. But anyway, the point is that tones are incredibly important, but the number one thing you want to remember is when you get a tone, what are you doing after you learn to bring it in and out? Every time you go, you lost it, you have to bring it back in. What are you doing? Pay attention to yourself in the third state. What is it that you are doing, observing yourself, without really thinking about it, that you're doing? And it's a something. Once you get that something, there's no name for it. You can then use it to operate for many different things. And this is what we call movement in dimensional conscious space. You can't walk there. You have to use this kind of different technology. Everybody with me so far? Everybody ready to locate tones? All right. So, one of the problems you're going to have if you are not familiar with the tones is that every sound in the room is going to seem like a distraction. And the point is that with all the sounds in the room, you literally shouldn't have any interest in them because none of them are the tone you are looking for, okay? Now, I'm sure most of you already have worked with the tones. That's perfectly fine. One last thing I should say, your goal really is to get to the third one. I'm very happy if you can get to the third one. The faster you can get to the third one is good. It'll take time, and holding it will take time. But I remember teaching groups of people, and for the first few days, they had such a hard time just holding that third bar. And by the fifth or sixth day, immediately by the time they sat down, I would say in the first 15 seconds, they were all on the third bar. And I would be like, isn't that so hard? And they're like, oh, no, man. And I said, don't you remember how hard it was? They're like, no. You forget. You just forget how hard it was, and it's just nothing. And if you don't do it for a week or two, all of a sudden you're like, God damn, that bar is so slippery all of a sudden again. You lose it quick, but if you focus, it comes back fast because that knowing of how you grabbed it comes back into play. So, what you're looking for is what's going to sound like, this is the hardest part, is distinguishing what you're looking for. It's a high pitch, very faint, almost as if there was a refrigerator running and you're like, oh my God, it's going to drive me crazy. I got to unplug it. I got to do something with this thing. It's like an electrical high pitch, like, you don't go by my imitation because it's awful, okay? But it's a high pitch, steady sound, okay? And what you do is once you think you've isolated, I often say listen to the inner rim of your ear because that's about where you're going to begin to find it. And usually for most people it's in the right, but some people it'll be in the left. It's just the opposite, okay? Once you have it, admire it. Just close your mind and listen to it. And as you relax your body, if you pay attention to yourself, you're going to feel something in your body, particularly your chest, but sometimes the whole body, where it's kind of almost like you're dropping into lower gears. But it's the reverse. Like upper gears just make you glide easier. Do you see what I'm saying? So I'd like to say you're going up in gears, but it doesn't seem correct when I explain it. So you pay attention to it once you find it, you close your mind, and then as you listen to it, your body almost kind of goes like, because you're there. You're not really so much in this body now. You're thinking about what you're experiencing. And once you have that and it's gotten nice and loud, you want to, like in a symphony, wonder to yourself, I wonder if there are other instruments in the audience. And then all of a sudden your mind becomes aware of that second one. It's very faint. But if you admire it while you're admiring the other, it will start getting louder and start moving in also. So let's start off with the 1 and the 2, okay? How many people, raise your hand, have never worked with the tones before? Okay, perfect, okay. So the rest of you guys, how many people have not been able to get past 2 tones? Perfect. How many people past 3 tones? Past 4 tones? All right, good. So we're going to try to be quiet. We're going to try to forget everything. And what you want to do is you simply wait. You just clear your mind. You simply wait. And what you're looking for is a very faint, high-frequency pitch. And you wonder, is that it? Is that the speaker? Don't worry about those things. Just focus in on it. Now, sometimes you'll think you're hearing it in the middle of your head, sometimes to one side of your head, sometimes a little bit outside of the rim of your ear. It doesn't matter. Now, I do hear the hum of a speaker. Is there any way we can shut these speakers down? I'll take that as a negative. I don't know why. Well, I like to teach them old school style. What happens if they don't have earplugs handy and they need to kung fu somebody psychically? They're going to make badasses. Okay, so the new people, if you could raise your hand if you've never heard one before. Can you raise your hand? And if you are hearing it now, could you bring your hand down so I can tell who's locked into it or not? Okay, so focusing on your ear, you're looking for a very high-pitched sound, very faint. We may have to find a quieter room for you guys if you're not able to find it easily. Yeah, it's going to be hard. Yeah, but this is good kung fu. You got to push them out of your head. How many people have found one? Raise your hand. How many people have found two? Good. How many people have found three? Good. All right, so what we're going to do to make this a little bit easier is I think we're going to break into groups and then have people work with you because everybody has their own little tricks, okay? If they're not able to help you, then I'll find somebody to switch with because sometimes a different instructor kind of communicates differently than the other person, and then that helps, okay? I was also told the other day that I go for long stretches without letting people go to the restroom. So I'll let people go use the restroom if they need to use it now, and then we're going to figure out how to divvy people up into groups. So if I can have the coaches come up front and anybody who wants to help people with tones, that would be great. Everybody else, you can scatter for 5 minutes or just give us a few seconds to figure out how we want to handle this.